I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. How many times have you gone to the pharmacy in the last 5 years? How many prescriptions did you get? How many pills did you take? And how many times did you have to deal with side effects? And during all that time, how many times did someone tell you this? You could have actually solved this in a much simpler way. Probably never, because no one tells you. But today, I will. Let me be clear from the start. What I'm about to show you is not some grandma's home remedy kind of thing. These are plants that have been tested in real clinical studies, their effects measured, and published in medical journals. This isn't belief, this is data. But there's a problem. These studies exist. The data is out there. The results are clear. And there are many health professionals who know about this. They just don't tell you during your appointment. Why? Because no pharmaceutical company can patent a plant. No patent means no big money. No big money means no large-scale research funding. No funding means it doesn't make its way into medical education, and if it's not in medical education, your doctor doesn't mention it. And just like that, you go through life without ever knowing. Is it intentional? Not always. But the result is the same. You don't know. And yet, this information is still out there, in journals, in university databases, in clinical reports, just sitting there waiting. And today, I'm bringing it to you. 20 plants, each one backed by published research. Some of them will shock you. Some of them might even frustrate you. But all of them will make you think, why didn't I know this earlier? And I promise you this. By the time you reach plant number 17, you're going to pause and say, how have I gone my whole life without hearing this? So watch until the end, because this isn't just for you. It's something worth passing on to the next generation. And before we start, if you like the video and subscribe, you help this information reach more people, because that's how the system works. The more people see it, the more people learn. All right? Let's begin. Garlic. The moment I say it, I can almost see you rolling your eyes. You've heard about it before, right? Come on, everyone knows garlic. You're probably thinking, hold on a second. Yes, everyone knows garlic exists, but no one told you this. Eating 2 cloves of raw garlic a day has been shown in some clinical studies to reduce systolic blood pressure at levels comparable to certain blood pressure medications. And no, this isn't from some random blog post. This comes from a meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutrition. Peer-reviewed, real science. So how does it actually work? When you crush or chew garlic, it releases a compound called allicin. Allicin is both a powerful antimicrobial agent and a natural vasodilator. And when your blood vessels expand, your blood pressure drops. Simple mechanism, measurable effect. But there's a catch. Allicin is extremely fragile. If you cook the garlic, fry it, boil it, most of that allicin disappears. So yes, cooked garlic is delicious, but medically, its power drops dramatically. Here's the real way to use it. In the morning, on an empty stomach, chew 1 to 2 cloves of raw garlic thoroughly, then drink a glass of water. The taste might feel overwhelming at first, but within a week, your body adjusts, and after 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start noticing changes. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, even how often you get sick during colder months. On the cholesterol side, studies show positive effects on LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol. It also reduces platelet aggregation, meaning your blood is less likely to clot, which is a key factor in heart attack risk. So why isn't this talked about? Because 2 cloves of garlic a day doesn't fit on a prescription pad. And even if it did, you wouldn't find it in a pharmacy, and if something doesn't have a place in the system doesn't promote it. Garlic is in almost every home, but most people still don't truly understand it. Some plants feel like they were made for the human body, and when you actually use them properly, the benefits are real, and this is just the beginning. The next plant goes even further in reducing inflammation, and step by step, you're going to learn all of them with me. Things that can benefit you for a lifetime. Now let's talk about the second one, ginger. Not the kind of ginger tea everyone drinks. Most of the time it's too diluted, the active compounds aren't fully released, and most of the real benefit is lost. Real ginger is the fresh root. And let me tell you something. In a study on chronic joint pain, patients who took 2 grams of ginger extract daily showed pain reduction comparable to ibuprofen. Yes, comparable. I double-checked that myself when I first read it. Published in Arthritis and Rheumatism, a properly designed, randomized, controlled trial. So what's going on inside the body? Ginger contains active compounds called gingerols and shogaols. These compounds suppress the production of cytokines, the signals that drive inflammation in your body. When cytokines go down, pain decreases, swelling reduces, and movement becomes easier. Interestingly, ibuprofen works on a similar pathway. By blocking COX enzymes, ginger affects the same system, but in a broader and gentler way, and that matters, especially especially for people who can't tolerate ibuprofen without stomach protection. Ginger's effect on nausea is also powerful. In studies on pregnancy-related nausea, ginger has been compared to anti-nausea medications and shown real effectiveness. It's even being studied for chemotherapy-induced nausea. So how do you actually use it? Grate fresh ginger root, add it to hot water, squeeze in some lemon, add a bit of honey. Drink 2 cups a day, or add a 1 to 2 centimeter piece of fresh ginger into your morning smoothie. If you're using capsules, go for standardized extract, around 250 to 500 milligrams, twice a day. Use it consistently for 2 weeks. Then pay attention. Your joints, your digestion, that stiffness you feel in the morning. And the next natural remedy is something even more interesting. It's also mentioned in sacred texts. And knowing these things might be one of the best decisions you make for yourself. Number 3, honey, the bee product that stops antibiotic-resistant bacteria. You already know the part that says honey is good. Everyone knows that. But I'm going to tell you something very different. The clear, cheap, processed honey you buy from supermarkets and real raw honey are, from a medical perspective, almost like 2 completely different substances. In commercial production, honey is heat-treated. This process prevents crystallization and extends shelf life. But it also destroys enzymes, antioxidants, antimicrobial compounds, and most of its benefits. Interestingly, honey is also mentioned in the Quran, in Surah An-Nahl, verse 68. And your Lord inspired the bee, saying, "Make your homes in the mountains, in the trees, and in what people construct." And in verse 69, "Then eat from all the fruits and follow the ways of your Lord laid down for you. From their bellies comes a drink of varying colors, in which there is healing for people. Indeed, in that is a sign for those who reflect." Of course, the Quran does not only mention plants, many answers about life can be found within it. Now back to science. Raw honey contains a protein called defensin 1. This protein produces hydrogen peroxide when it comes into contact with tissue. Hydrogen peroxide literally breaks down bacterial cell walls, but that's not all. Honey's naturally low pH and high osmotic pressure, its ability to draw water, make it almost impossible for bacteria to survive. Even more impressive, it has been shown to be effective against MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, one of the most dangerous antibiotic-resistant bacteria found in hospitals. This is not speculation. These findings were published in the journal Clinical Microbiology and Infection. In the UK, some NHS hospitals officially use Manuka honey, a powerful type of raw honey native to New Zealand, in surgical wound care and chronic wound treatment. Applied on sterile dressings, honey not only kills bacteria, but also creates a moist environment that accelerates tissue repair. And you're still squeezing honey from a plastic bear. How to use it? Apply a thin layer of raw honey directly to minor burns, cuts, or skin irritations. At the first sign of a sore throat, slowly swallow a spoonful of raw honey. Don't wash it down immediately with water. In the morning, mix a spoon of raw honey into warm water on an empty stomach. Do not heat it. Do not cook it. Its benefits remain only when it stays raw. Number 4, turmeric. One ingredient that makes a 2,000% difference. Everyone knows turmeric now. Golden lattes, turmeric tea, turmeric smoothies. It's everywhere. But let me ask you something. Are you using it correctly? Or are you just wasting your money? The active compound in turmeric is curcumin, and on its own, curcumin has extremely low bioavailability. That means even if you consume it, your body absorbs very little of it. It mostly just passes through your digestive system. But here's what research clearly shows. When curcumin is taken together with piperine, a compound found in black pepper, its absorption increases by up to 2,000%. 2,000%. One simple spice can multiply its effect 20 times. How often have you heard that? There are dozens of clinical studies on chronic inflammation, joint pain, and gut inflammation. A study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry showed that turmeric supplementation led to measurable improvements in memory tests. There are also animal studies and early human data suggesting it may reduce amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. The unusually low prevalence of Alzheimer's in India, compared to Western countries, has long drawn researchers' attention to turmeric. How do you use it? Mix 1 teaspoon of turmeric with a pinch of black pepper and a teaspoon of olive oil. The oil also improves absorption, Add it to your meals, mix it into warm milk, or blend it into a smoothie. If you're using capsules, choose forms that are combined with piperine. Use it daily, consistently. And don't forget the black pepper. Number 5. Echinacea. Winter hits. Your throat starts to feel scratchy. A slight chill kicks in. What's your first instinct? Run to the pharmacy, grab some vitamin C, maybe even ask for antibiotics. But what about echinacea? Echinacea purpurea contains compounds like glycosides, alkamides, and polysaccharides that actively stimulate the immune system. And this isn't just theory. The Cochrane Review, one of the most trusted sources in medical research, analyzed 24 different echinacea can shorten the duration of a common cold by about 1 to 2 days and may also reduce the risk of catching it in the first place. 1 or 2 days doesn't sound like much. Think again. When you're stuck in bed with the flu, your work days, your energy, your weekend with your family. Now here's the critical part. Echinacea works best when you take it right at the first sign of symptoms. That first scratch in your throat, that first wave of fatigue. That's when you start. Use it in tea or tincture form for about 3 to 7 days. Then stop, because if you take it continuously without a break, your immune system starts adapting, and the effect decreases. If you're using a tincture, around 20 to 30 drops, 3 times a day. But here's the thing. When you get sick, the prescription usually includes fever reducers and sometimes antibiotics. Echinacea, it doesn't make it onto that piece of paper. Number 6. Ashwagandha. Let me ask you something. Do you struggle with sleep? Do you wake up feeling actually rested? When stress hits, does it feel like your whole body shuts down, not just your mind? Do you feel constantly tired without really knowing why? If your answer is yes, this might be exactly what you need. Ashwagandha is a root that has been used in traditional Ayurvedic medicine in India for over 3,000 years. And in modern research, it stands out for one main reason: its ability to lower cortisol levels. Cortisol is your stress hormone. In short bursts, it can save your life. But when it stays high for too long, sleep gets disrupted. Your immune system weakens. Weight gain becomes easier, focus drops, libido decreases. Basically, the exact picture of modern life. Now here's where it gets interesting. A double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry found that participants taking 300 milligrams of ashwagandha extract daily experienced a 27.9% reduction in cortisol levels after 8 weeks. Think about that. If a pharmaceutical drug showed that kind of result, it would be everywhere. On top of that, improvements were also seen in sleep quality, energy levels, and overall quality of life. So how do you use it? In capsule form, 300 to 600 milligrams per day after meals. Use it consistently for about 8 weeks. And one important note, if you have thyroid issues, talk to your doctor first. Number 7, chamomile. You drink chamomile tea, but you probably think it's just a placebo. Like, I feel better because I drank something warm. No. The mechanism is much more specific than that. Chamomile, Matricaria chamomilla, contains a flavonoid called apigenin, and apigenin binds directly to GABA-A receptors in your brain. Now here's why that matters. GABA is basically the main brake system of your central nervous system. When GABA-A receptors are activated, the firing rate of your neurons slows down. Anxiety drops. Your body relaxes. Falling asleep becomes easier. So this isn't just tea making you feel cozy. There's a real neurological effect happening, and it gets even more interesting. There are actual medications that target the same receptors. They're called benzodiazepines, like Valium, Xanax, and Rivotril. These drugs activate the same GABA-A receptors, but much more aggressively. And because of that, they come with a serious risk of dependence. Stopping them can be extremely difficult. Withdrawal symptoms can last for months. Chamomile works on the same system, but in a much gentler way, and without that addictive effect. In fact, 2 randomized controlled studies have shown that chamomile extract can measurably reduce symptoms in patients diagnosed with chronic anxiety. So how do you actually use it? About 45 minutes before bed, drink a strong cup of chamomile tea. And here's a small detail most people miss. Keep the lid on while it steeps, so the volatile compounds don't escape. If you struggle with sleep and don't want to rely on prescription sleep meds, this is something worth trying. And let me say this, if you're still watching this video, it's probably not just out of curiosity. Maybe you're dealing with a health issue, maybe someone close to you is. Or maybe you feel like the system hasn't really helped you enough. I hear you. That's why I'm sharing this information as honestly as I can. I'm not making up studies, I'm not exaggerating effects, but I am telling you the things that are often overlooked, because knowing this is your right. And what's coming next might genuinely surprise you. Being able to share these discoveries with you actually makes me really happy. And I'm curious, what are some hidden natural remedies you know about? Drop them in the comments. Let other people learn from you too.
Number 8. Lavender, the anxiety plant that got official government approval. Lavender smells nice. People make soap with it, candles, pillow sprays. Everyone calls it relaxing. And when you hear that, something clicks in your mind. Sure, it smells good, but it's not a real medicine. Wait, Germany's Federal Institute for Drugs and Medical Devices officially approved a standardized oral lavender oil capsule called Silexin for the treatment of anxiety. Germany, one of the strictest drug regulatory systems in Europe. They approved a plant extract for anxiety. That's not a small thing. In randomized, double-blind trials, Silexin was tested against both placebo and lorazepam, a benzodiazepine. It showed comparable effects in reducing anxiety symptoms. Lorazepam is highly addictive and extremely difficult to stop. Lavender is not addictive at all. Did you know that difference existed? How to use it? For real clinical effect, look for standardized oral capsules, 80 milligrams per day after a meal. Effects become noticeable within 2 to 4 weeks. 9. Broccoli sprouts, 100 times more powerful than the vegetable. You might look at this plant and think, how ordinary, small, thin, green little sprouts. But Johns Hopkins University has been researching this plant for decades. Broccoli sprouts contain 20 to 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli. Sulforaphane activates a biochemical pathway in the body called NRF2. This pathway is the master key of cellular detoxification. It stimulates liver enzymes, accelerates the neutralization of carcinogens, and protects cells from oxidative stress. The research findings are striking. It suppresses H. pylori, the bacteria linked to stomach cancer. In a study conducted on people exposed to heavy air pollution, the group taking broccoli sprout extract excreted 61% more carcinogens through urine. 61%. How to get them? Soak the seeds, rinse every 2 days, ready by day 5. Sprinkle on top of salads. Do not cook them. Sulforaphane is heat sensitive. 10. Stinging nettle. Approved in Germany, still treated as a weed elsewhere. Say stinging nettle and people back away. It burns when you touch it. But once cooked, that stinging property disappears completely. What's left is a plant richer in iron than spinach, dense in calcium and magnesium. The real story is about the prostate. In Germany and Austria, stinging nettle root extract is officially approved and widely used for benign prostate enlargement. The same plant is treated as a weed in many other countries. 2 countries, same plant, very different picture. The mechanism, it interacts with hormone-binding globulin, known as SHBG, slowing down growth signals in prostate tissue. It also suppresses histamine release, which makes it effective for seasonal allergies. How to use it? 2 to 3 cups of nettle tea per day. For prostate support, root extract capsules provide more concentrated effects. 11. Flaxseed, your body's natural estrogen buffer. You eat flaxseed for the fiber. You say it's good for digestion, and move on. The real story is somewhere else entirely. Flaxseed is one of the world's richest sources of lignans. Lignans are phytoestrogens, meaning plant-based compounds that resemble estrogen. They bind to estrogen receptors but produce a much weaker effect than real estrogen. If estrogen is too high, they block the receptors and reduce its impact. If estrogen is low, they provide gentle support. They work like a smart buffer. Daily consumption of 40 grams of ground flaxseed significantly reduces the frequency and intensity of menopause hot flashes. There are also early-stage findings for men regarding prostate health. Critical detail: if you eat whole flaxseed, most of it passes through undigested. Your body cannot break the hard outer shell. You must grind it. 1 tablespoon a day into your coffee, yogurt, or salad. That's simple. 12. Fennel. The silent secret of cultures that understood digestive chemistry. When you leave an Indian restaurant, they place a small bowl of fennel seeds on the table. This is not just a tradition. It is knowledge observed over thousands of years, passed from culture to culture. The anethole compound in fennel relaxes the smooth muscles of the intestine, effective for gas, bloating, and cramping after meals. It even appears in some pediatric guidelines for infant colic. There is also another side to fennel that most people don't know. Anethole is structurally similar to estrogen. It has been used for centuries in traditional medicine for irregular menstrual cycles and menstrual cramps. Small-scale studies support this use. How to use it? After a meal, chew half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, or drop a teaspoon of seeds into hot water, wait 5 minutes, strain, and drink. 13. Peppermint, the plant that stands next to ibuprofen. When you think of peppermint, you think of a breath freshener, but I'm going to show you why it shares a stage with ibuprofen. Irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, affects 15% of the world's population. Enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules showed significant superiority over placebo in multiple randomized controlled trials on IBS symptoms. A meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal confirmed this. The menthol inside relaxes the smooth muscles of the intestine, and the spasms and bloating disappear. For tension-type headaches, a clinical study applying diluted peppermint essential oil to the temples produced this result: pain reduction comparable to paracetamol, without a pill, without passing through the liver. How to use it? For IBS, enteric-coated peppermint oil capsule, 30 minutes before a meal. For headaches, dilute a few drops of peppermint essential oil with a carrier oil and apply to the temples. 6 plants down. The same picture with every single one. Research exists. The mechanism is clear. The effect has been measured, but you never heard it from across the doctor's desk. Because if there's no patent, the system doesn't care. Now we're moving to plant number 14, and after that comes number 17. You handle that plant every day. You throw its peel in the trash. And right now, hundreds of researchers around the world are actively studying that peel. But first, think about these 6 plants for a moment. Lavender, broccoli sprouts, stinging nettle, flaxseed, fennel, peppermint. All 6 affect completely different systems. Lavender for emotional regulation, broccoli sprouts for cellular detox, stinging nettle for prostate and allergies, flaxseed for hormone balance, fennel for digestion, peppermint for both the gut and headaches. And all 6 have been ignored the same way. No patent, no big advertising budget, no space in medical education. Which of these plants surprised you the most? Lavender's official government approval? The 100 times difference in broccoli sprouts? The Germany story with stinging nettle? Write it in the comments. And let me ask you this. Are you currently using any of these plants? Or was there one you had never heard of until this video? Write, I already knew, or first time hearing this, because this tells me something too. This channel grows with you. It takes shape with your feedback. You might be thinking right now, what happens if I use these? Are there side effects? Here's the answer. These plants are safe for the vast majority of people, thousands of years of use behind them. But if you're on medication or have a chronic condition, talk to your doctor first. These plants are not here to replace your medicine. They're here to work alongside it. Pick one, the one you need most right now. Use it consistently for 4 to 8 weeks. Then add another one. Accumulated knowledge, accumulated health. You might also say, I already knew about these. Maybe. But did you know the mechanism? Did you know lavender was officially approved in Germany? Did you know broccoli sprouts are 100 times stronger than mature broccoli? Did you know you must grind flaxseed for it to work? There is a mountain of difference between plants are good for you and this plant, through this mechanism, at this dose, in this form, produces this effect. A plant used in the wrong form does nothing. Used correctly, it can change your life. That's why I focus so much on form, dose, and mechanism, because knowledge is not meant to be shallow. One final note. Every one of these 6 plants was used for centuries across different parts of the world, long before modern medicine ignored them. Lavender has existed in the Mediterranean since ancient times. Stinging nettle has been used across Central Asia and Europe for hundreds of years. Fennel appeared in kitchens and medicine from India all the way to the Mediterranean. Peppermint has been used for both flavor and healing across every geography on Earth. And now modern laboratories are explaining the chemistry behind those observations. Traditional knowledge was not wrong. Modern science just arrived late. You are standing at the meeting point of both. And now you carry this knowledge too. 14. Lemon balm, the sleeping pill, growing in your backyard. Let me ask you something. Do you have a green plant on your balcony or in your garden that smells like lemon? The one you look at and say smells nice and walk away? That plant is offering you a sleep aid every single night, for free. Lemon balm, known as Melissa officinalis, inhibits an enzyme called GABA transaminase. This enzyme breaks down GABA in the brain. When lemon balm suppresses it, GABA accumulates. More GABA means less tension, easier sleep, a calmer mind. And there is a lesser-known side to this plant, the thyroid. Early-stage research shows lemon balm may bind to TSH receptors and reduce the overstimulation of the thyroid gland. For anyone with Hashimoto's or hyperthyroidism, this is not a small note. How to use it. 2 cups of lemon balm tea per day. A 300 to 600 milligram capsule extract 1 hour before bed. Combining it with chamomile tea strengthens the effect. If you are on thyroid medication, speak to your doctor first. 15. Olive leaf, the part of the tree that is more powerful than the fruit. I am going to tell you something that will shock you. You know the olive, you know olive oil, but have you ever heard of the leaf? And if you heard, would you believe it? The leaf is far more powerful than the fruit. Olive leaf contains a polyphenol called oleuropein. This compound is antioxidant, antimicrobial, and antiviral all at once. But here is the truly surprising part. In a clinical trial on blood pressure, olive leaf extract was compared to captopril, a blood pressure medication. The results showed comparable effects. A plant leaf, standing on the same stage as a pharmaceutical drug. There are also findings on the blood sugar side. It has been shown to increase insulin sensitivity and lower fasting blood glucose levels. Do you have an olive tree in your garden or nearby? Think twice before you throw that leaf away again. How to use it. Brew dried leaves into tea. The taste is slightly bitter. You can add honey. In capsule form, 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day, taken with a meal. 16. Thyme, the kitchen spice. Being compared to antibiotics. Go to your kitchen right now. Is there a shelf? Is there thyme on it? Inside that little jar are compounds that have been compared to antibiotics in research studies. Thymol and carvacrol, the active compounds in thyme, directly pierce bacterial cell walls. Bacterial cells collapse from the inside. This effect is remarkably broad spectrum. Activity was demonstrated in laboratory conditions against E. coli, salmonella, and even some antibiotic-resistant strains. In Germany, cough syrups containing thyme are officially approved for bronchitis. There is also a finding on the gut side. Thyme suppresses harmful bacteria while affecting beneficial ones relatively less. Antibiotics eliminate everything, good and bad, without distinction. That difference is significant. How to use it. Add generously to your meals. For respiratory issues, 2 to 3 cups of strong thyme tea per day. Chest massage with diluted essential oil. 17. Pomegranate peel. What is hidden in the part you throw away? Stop. Are you eating a pomegranate right now? Are you throwing the peel in the trash? Hundreds of researchers around the world are actively studying that peel. Pomegranate peel is extremely rich in compounds called L-argitannins. These compounds are metabolized in the gut into urolithins. Urolithins activate a process called mitophagy. Mitophagy is the clearing of damaged mitochondria, the energy production units of your cells. The cell renews itself. This process is one of the hottest areas in both anti-aging and cancer prevention research. The source? That peel you are throwing in the trash. In a study on gum disease, a pomegranate peel mouthwash was compared to chlorhexidine mouthwash. Similar effect. Chlorhexidine stains teeth. Pomegranate peel does not. How to use it? Dry the peel in the oven at 60 to 70 degrees. Grind it. Brew with hot water. The taste is astringent. You can add honey. Next time you peel a pomegranate, save the peel. 18. Senna. The plant doctors are already using under a different name. When you hear this, you will be surprised. Doctors are already using this plant. They just do not write its plant name on the prescription. The senosides inside senna stimulate the movements of the large intestine. This effect is so powerful that it is used as an active ingredient in pharmaceutical products in many countries. Hospitals prescribe it for bowel preparation before surgery. Tablets containing senoside A and B. What is inside? Senna. Important warning. For short-term use only. With chronic use, the intestinal muscles become lazy. Do not use for more than 3 to 5 days. Should not be used during pregnancy. How to use it. A cup of senna tea before bed. Effects begin within 8 to 12 hours. Ideal for travel constipation and temporary issues. 19. St. John's wort, the flower. Being compared to antidepressants. Stop and think about this. Studies published in The Lancet and the BMJ found that St. John's wort showed comparable effectiveness to antidepressants such as sertraline and imipramine, officially approved in Germany for mild to moderate depression. The hypericin and hyperforin it contains suppress the reuptake of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. In other words, it does what antidepressants do across multiple neurotransmitters. But there is a very critical warning. St. John's wort powerfully stimulates cytochrome P450 enzymes. It can dramatically reduce the effectiveness of birth control pills, warfarin, HIV medications, and chemotherapy drugs. If you are taking any other medication, you must speak to your doctor first. How to use it. Standardized capsule form, 300 milligrams 3 times per day. Effects become noticeable within 4 to 6 weeks. 20. Ginkgo biloba, the brain plant, that is 270 million years old. And finally, I want to ask you something. Do you know a tree that existed 270 million years ago? Before the dinosaurs. When the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, ginkgo trees were among the first in the city to survive. They were exposed to massive radiation, and they lived. The leaves of this tree contain flavonoids and terpenes that increase blood flow to the brain. A standardized extract called EGB761 significantly improved cognitive function and daily living activities in patients with vascular dementia and Alzheimer's disease compared to placebo. Its effect has also been demonstrated in tinnitus and peripheral circulatory disorders. Warning: it has blood-thinning properties. Those taking aspirin or warfarin should be careful. How to use it. EGB 761 standardized extract, 120 to 240 milligrams twice per day. Use consistently for 8 to 12 weeks. And now stop. We have completed all 20 plants, from garlic to ginkgo. The same picture with every single one. Research exists. The mechanism is clear. The effect has been measured. And you never heard it from across the doctor's desk. Because there is no patent, no advertising, the system does not care. One last question for you. Which of these 20 plants surprised you the most? The mitophagy and pomegranate peel? St. John's wort being compared to antidepressants? Thyme standing next to antibiotics? Write it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. Share this knowledge with a friend, a parent, someone who cannot sleep, someone dealing with joint pain, because this information belongs to everyone, and spreading it takes nothing more than a single share. Did you notice something about these last 7 plants? Every single one is already in your life. Lemon balm grows on your balcony. Olive leaf is in your garden or nearby. Thyme is on your kitchen shelf. Pomegranate is in your home every season. Senna is available at any herbal store. St. John's wort grows wild in fields. Ginkgo trees are planted in city parks. All of them are accessible. All of them are affordable. And you were either using them wrong or not using them at all. This is a knowledge gap. And a knowledge gap is a life quality gap. Before this video, how many of these plants did you already know? How many had you heard of but never understood this deeply? And how many were a genuine surprise? Write, "I already knew," or "first time hearing this," in the comments. Write which plant you want to start with, because this channel grows with you. Your questions shape the next video. Pick one. Use it consistently for 4 to 8 weeks. Then add another. Accumulated knowledge, accumulated health. This is a system, and you can start building it right now. The information in this video is based on research data, but research data is not clinical advice. If you are on medication, have a chronic condition, or are pregnant, speak to your doctor before using these plants. Some plants like St. John's wort and ginkgo biloba can have serious interactions with medications. Take that warning seriously. Knowledge gives you power, but power comes with responsibility. Now let us look at the big picture one more time. 20 plants. No patent on any of them. No big advertising budget behind any of them. No wide coverage in medical education for any of them. But research exists for all of them. The mechanism has been explained for all of them. The effect has been measured for all of them. The path outside this cycle is knowledge passed from person to person, just as it has been for centuries. This video is part of that path. You are now a carrier of this knowledge too. Let us spread it. Thank you for watching this video. Making it to the end takes patience and curiosity. I hope this knowledge changes something real in your life. Like, share, leave a comment. Those 3 seconds help me prepare the next piece of content. See you in the next one.